Hello and welcome back to Retrotainment Recast. My illustrious seventh reign abruptly came to a violent end to the hands of our reigning champ, Ted.
Yes.
How are you, Ted?
Oh, I'm good, man. How are you?
Better than I was last week.
I mean, I'm champion, so I'm better than I was last week.
You're better than you've been most weeks.
No, I was the champion recently enough.
Yeah, but you're falling behind in reigns now.
But my reigns are long.
Let's calm down in this winning talk here, lads.
You boys have got like loads of little short reigns, I've got one big long reign.
And then we have a man who is struggling for victories as of late.
I'm going for the Kurt Hawkins run.
You are going for the Kurt Hawkins run.
I mean, Ted slipped me a brown envelope, so you're getting another one on that list tonight. Carl, how are you?
Not too bad. Nice to revisit the childhood here with Scooby-Doo.
I mean, I was nice seeing as you had COVID brain last week to give you something handy to watch rather than, I mean, I could have given you The Godfather, I could have given you this, that, and the other. It's just not worth it. I know what it's like to have COVID. It ain't fun.
It's a nice short one. We're only recasting 5 for the first time.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a fun one to go back and rewatch, but it's a very tough one here with only 5. Like going with a short.
I mean, if you lose the first 2 here, you're gone. You're in trouble.
You're in a lot of trouble. Like
where with the 7, you get a handy one. Like it's just it is what it is.
Even losing 1 point in this could just change everything for you.
Looking here, I think there's 2 actors here that has never been used before.
Oh,
I have in. Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I think I only have 1 maybe that hasn't been used before.
And there's 1, 2 that I think I've only used previously. Not you lads.
Oh, Carl is going out on one here.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
He's going out with his sword and his shield.
It'll either do me really good or backfire and I'll lose again.
5-0 to Ted.
Yeah, Carl will use loads of actors that neither of us have ever heard of.
Yeah. I'm really happy with my Shaggy, and that's one that's never been used before, and I just hope you've seen it, Greg. That's all I can say.
I'm going to say I haven't.
You could be in trouble here, Carl.
You want to send in the old photos, lads?
We
will. I'll go through the formalities, lads. I went through the rules in the dressing room. I want a good, clean fight. Keep it clean. You know the rules. Let's get it on.
There's mine sent in there.
In case you didn't know and you're tuning in for the first time, we get them lads to send in the photos just in case there is a tie on actors and we can verify it. Go check out the previous episodes because they're awesome. Right, lads, where do we start here?
Where do we start with the villain, don't we?
I think you have to start with the villain because everyone else is pretty integral.
I mean, would you say Rowan Atkinson was probably the biggest name in this movie? Sarah Michelle Gellar, maybe.
Sarah Michelle, Freddie Prinze would have been
pretty big. Matthew Lillard
probably is a bigger name, but would have been probably less known.
Yeah, he was different. He was
sense.
Coming off random movies, and obviously he'd been in Scream.
Yeah,
he was never. It's
a very diverse cast, really.
Yeah, I think Matthew Lillard was never really a main.
At all.
Huh?
It's not diverse at all. It's
diverse. Well, I mean, the comics were all white people. That's not what I meant by diverse.
I know, I'm joking.
A random group of people that you wouldn't expect to see in a movie like this.
I'm sure you did have, I think they were only newly engaged at the time, and Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Is this not where they met?
I think this is where they met.
I thought they were together already.
Or they were engaged by the end of filming this, or something.
Yeah, something like that. I think they met on set though.
I know we could be wrong about that, and if we are,
I don't follow celebrities' love lives that closely. I just know that.
So we'll go with the villain who was played by Rowan Atkinson, obviously Mr. Bean.
Mondavarius.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to attempt to say that.
His name's actually, I thought it was quite bad when I first seen it, but when I rewatched it, I was like, no, it's actually quite easy to say. Mondavarius.
And little Scrappy Doo.
I liked that Scrappy Doo was a dick in this because he was a dick in the cartoons as well. But he was meant to be loved in the cartoons. I was like, nah, I always hated him.
Yeah.
Always hated him in the cartoons. I'm glad
his voice, his stupid voice.
I didn't mind the voice so much, but I liked that he was just a dick in this, and that they were like, he's not even a pup. It's just some sort of disorder that he can't grow any bigger. I like that they really went in on him on this,
And they just give him small man syndrome.
Yeah, basically. Well, that's what he always had. So, yeah, this one, the character doesn't really get up to much. You know, he invites them and then kind of absorbs the souls, and then it's not him, and then they free him from the underground like cavern thing. He's
just a bit awkward.
Yeah, he's just kind of not really.
That's there. Mr. Bean all over, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it was Mr. Bean. I went with someone who could play a similar enough role, and it is someone we've used before because I actually couldn't really think of anyone more to go here. David Tennant. I do think he would do the role well because I think he's a very good actor, and I think he could do the role very well. But there's just not a huge amount of acting in this role. So,
fair. I went with someone who we know we can play awkward very well. I went with Michael Cera.
This was your chance, Ted.
No, because Michael Cera's not a bad guy, lads. You know, he's
not as Mr. Bean.
Not Rowan Atkinson is a bad guy.
He has you there, Ted.
No, in Blackadder and everything, he's a fucking dick in Blackadder as well. To
be fair, Mr. Bean is kind of a bad guy. He makes a fuck up of everything.
Yeah, he's a dick. Have you ever seen the
one
where
he's just awkward?
No,
Whistler's mother.
No, because he loses his ticket to get out of the fucking car park. So how does he get out? Oh, when your man's come in, I'll ram his fucking car. He's a dick, lads. Like Mr. Bean, he was funny. Don't get me wrong, he's funny, but he was a dick.
I actually went with someone that I don't think has been used. I went with Alan Tudyk, who was obviously
nice.
Steve the pirate from Dodgeball.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, no, I do like him. Yeah, that's actually a very good one. I think he would have been. Yeah, he actually is a very good choice for that.
Another Star Wars alumni.
Is he in Star Wars?
He is the voice of K2SO in Rogue One.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give David Tennant the point here. I just can't see Michael Cera.
He's not a baddie.
He's not the fastest man on the planet, lads.
Well, he's the fastest kid alive, but like that was a couple of years ago.
I just don't see it, and I wouldn't mind. I've seen Michael Cera as a bad guy in Camp Hell.
It's not really though.
I was sitting there watching it, going, no,
he can't do it. He can't do it. He can't be.
Some people can, and some people can't. Michael Cera can't.
He was a dick in This the End before he died.
That movie was not a good movie. We don't know.
I haven't seen it in that. I'd never believed that he could be a bad guy. You know, he's too lovable. The fastest kid alive.
Yeah. No. Don't see it. Unfortunately, Carl.
Good old David Tennant.
Here we go.
I know I've used David Tennant as well, and now I only seen him in certain movies. The other name I had was Stephen Merchant.
Yeah, Alan Tudyk. I think Alan Tudyk is the correct shout, though. I think he's probably the best shout there.
Yeah. Right. So we have 4 left instead of 6.
Yes.
Right. I'm gonna go with Velma here.
Originally played by Linda Cardellini.
Obviously, she was the smallest of them. Ideally, she is the smartest of them and the best of them.
Yeah.
Shaggy's the best. You know, he's the smartest. Really, he wants to.
No, but like she's the most important one theoretically too.
Yeah, well, she's intelligent, but I mean, you know, the smartest person is the guy who's trying to run away from the ghosts.
Yeah, that's not run to the ghosts.
Yeah, like that's Shaggy. He's the and obviously Matthew Lillard is they've all come out and said that he was basically a god on. Yeah, he was a god on set. You know, they literally a god on set. They're all terrified of.
Yeah, right. So we go with Velma here.
I went with Rebel Wilson. I don't think she's been used before.
I think it's Rebel Wilson.
I'm not a big fan of Rebel Wilson either. I'm just not. I don't particularly like her as an actress, but she can act. And if it was a studio would pick someone like her for this role, and I think she'd suit it well. I'm not a particular fan of her, and I wouldn't go out my way to pick her or to choose her for something. But I think she'd suit the role well.
Fair enough. Ted?
I kind of had a couple of people for this one. Obviously, as you said, this is kind of meant to be the brainier character. So I kind of looked at the Jumanji, the new Jumanji, and I had as my backup, I had Morgan Turner, who is the girl who gets transformed into the main kick-ass, you know, like the main character.
Oh yeah. Karen Gillan.
Yeah, she gets turned into Karen Gillan. Yeah, so that's why I had it first, and then I said they might go with someone a little bit different than that, a little more name value nowadays. So I went with Maisie Williams. I don't know that she'd be great for it, but I think name-wise, I think she's quite solid for it.
Want to guess who I went with?
Maisie Williams.
Yeah.
I can't see you going with Rebel Wilson.
I hate Rebel Wilson.
Yeah.
I hate her. But Maisie Williams was my pick.
Yeah, Carl.
I thought she fitted in there absolutely perfectly.
Yeah. Carl, you would want to note that down, that never pick
never
Rebel
use Rebel
Wilson.
again.
Well,
That's fine.
No, just
even if I'm going to do a Jordan Peele, even if she was the correct person for the job, I wouldn't hire her.
I'm not a fan of hers either, but I know Greg despises her.
Yeah. No, Maisie Williams was my pick.
Yeah.
I thought the look she has was.
Yeah, that's kind of what I went with as well. Like, Velma
Don't
is
you know-
always meant to be kind of the nerdy one of this, but they didn't go with someone who was just nerdy in this. They went with someone who was relatively attractive.
With the
as well.
Cardellini's smoke show.
Yeah, but she
Well, that's
didn't
what I
look
mean.
it in this. Rebel Wilson is not.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Either again, Maisie Williams isn't a top 10 either. But okay, I'm going to ask you a question, right?
Yep.
You've gone Michael Cera as the bad guy, right, and Rebel Wilson as Thing.
Yeah.
That means your cast are all older, a lot older than these should be.
The next three are quite young.
Oh, right, okay. I was like, hold on, these are only supposed to be teenagers
Yeah.
along the way.
No,
The
well,
next,
Michael Cera
Yeah.
is probably too young to be the bad
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. No, but
he
do you know what I
had
mean?
the opposite way.
Uh,
Michael Cera is
um,
Freddy.
the next three are quite young. I'm actually, I'm okay with the next three.
See, well, you know, you're okay with the next three. You're going to need the next three.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Somehow I can somehow see my streak continuing.
I'm going to go with Fred here. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Freddie Prinze Jr. Obviously, you know, meant to be the illustrious leader and a bit of a, you know,
He's a
boy,
wanker.
pretty boy, very full of himself. So I had two people for this. One was one we've used quite a few times in Joe Keery. But I don't know, like that's kind of the way he is in the first season of Stranger Things, and then they kind of shift away from that. Yeah, they kind of tone him down from that. I went with somebody who Carl has used a few times in Harry Styles, who would be considered quite
He was a backup for me.
Who would be considered quite a pretty boy sort of thing, and I could see him pulling off that role of, you know, yeah, like it's all about me, and I was the one who came up with the plan and stuff like that. I can see him doing it.
The rich boy.
Yeah, I can
Harry
see him
Styles.
doing
I did have him down. He was a backup for me, but I think he doesn't have the preppy look, and that's what kind of came down to me for. I was just looking for the, you know, Fred is like he's a preppy guy.
You know, it's Zach Morris.
I went with Cole, I went with Cole Sprouse.
Woof.
Again, I'm not going for a big name because they weren't big names in this.
Freddie Prinze was relatively
He
big.
wasn't a huge name. He wasn't a household name kind of thing.
I don't think he ever made it to that status of being
a household name, maybe
a
not.
major star. Like everyone talks about him as if he was huge. I don't think he ever was.
From his father.
I'm not sure who that is.
Freddie Prinze. It was a comedian.
Oh.
Yeah.
So one of these had my backup in Cole Sprouse. Harry Styles didn't even come to my mind.
Fuck. I thought Harry Styles would be really good for this.
I went with Dacre Montgomery here. The dick. Now, Joel Keery came across for the hair.
Yeah. For me, Dacre's more of a rough kind of looking guy. I don't know.
I think he can come across as that because
no, he can. I'm not disagreeing. He can come across that way, but like what I've mainly seen him in is Stranger Things. And he's more the kind of rugged guy in that than the pretty preppy, like.
It's fair, yeah.
Pretty boy, do you know what I mean?
That's who I went with. I'm gonna give this one to Carl Sherlock as he was my backup. I thought I was onto a good one having him as backup. I was like, none of the lads are gonna use him.
I did think about him, and then when Harry Styles came to my head, I just thought, this is a guy that, everyone kind of thought this about him when he was in One Direction, is that's the kind of person he was.
I know that lad can honestly be a great actor, and I think that he will be. But
what I mean to say, his dress sense is atrocious, and I'm not one to slag anyone's dress sense, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, it's meant to be, it's meant to be that way.
Statement making.
Yeah, true.
So we're down to 2-1, lads.
I could be in trouble here, depending on who Carl goes with for Shaggy.
Right. Well, obviously,
I'm very happy with my Shaggy choice.
We're gonna keep Shaggy to last.
If Greg has seen it, I'm very happy with my Shaggy
Carl,
choice.
I'm not optimistic about if I've seen it. We're gonna go with Daphne here, who was Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Cool.
Buffy herself.
I'm actually really happy with this choice here. I went with Naomi Scott. She played Jasmine in the latest Aladdin movie. She was also in Power Rangers.
Oh yeah.
She was in Charlie's Angels.
We won't talk about that.
I can't say I've seen any of them.
You've seen Power Rangers?
I think she was in Power Rangers. I might be getting mixed up. Yeah, she is in Power Rangers. She was in The Martian. I know her from Terra Nova. Yeah, she's a good actress. She really is a good actress, and she's one of the up and coming actresses that's out there at the moment. I think this would be another big role another role to kind of get her name out there for a franchise.
Ted?
Yeah, see, this is where I could be in trouble because I've used the person I have here once or twice before, and yous have not been happy with it, but I do think it fits this role very well.
Shout me.
As a backup, I had Emma Stone, but I think maybe a little bit old.
You'd have won.
I thought that you might have gone with Emma Stone as well.
I didn't go with Emma Stone, but you'd have won.
See, it's the red hair, I think, that kind of does that, but obviously Sarah Michelle Gellar wasn't red hair. They just dyed it a bit. As I said, for Velma,
they gave her a terrible wig. That's what they
did. Yeah, because at one part in the movie, you can actually see her blonde hair coming through it.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but yeah. As I said, at one point for Velma, I had Morgan Turner from Jumanji, and that was kind of based off who I have here in this role, because they would have worked together in Madison Eisman, who is the rich preppy girl from Jumanji, and she kind of stops being that after they go into the video game and then comes back.
Well, this show's all over. That's because that was my pick.
Was it? Yes.
Yeah.
I was worried with that one because
I was actually thinking to myself, I was like, no one's going to use that one.
See, I've used that a couple of times before, and I've used it with both of you as judges before, and both times it's been shot down rigorously. No,
the first time I hadn't seen her in anything.
Yeah, and then the other time it got shot down as well. I was like, I might need to just.
To be fair, I think the other time she got used against Margot Robbie.
Yeah, and my argument was that I thought Margot Robbie was too big a name at the time. Well, still is a big name, but for that character, I thought she was too big.
Carly.
Yeah.
See, I was worried about that one because it's been shot down before, so I was like, this could actually come down to.
I do think Naomi Scott would suit the role better.
Thank God.
But if you have it written down, that's that. But I do think Naomi Scott would suit that role a bit better.
I can't comment. I haven't seen her.
I've seen her in things, but I haven't seen enough of her to say she could do it better. Now, don't get me wrong. There's not a whole lot of acting in this, but
true. Plus, I'm trying to diversify the cast a little bit.
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing that. I nearly went with Zendaya there for Daphne, and I was like, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably would have lost you the point.
I think that's what I thought. I was like, I don't think she fits into that role. So.
Yeah. So it's another defeat for Carl. The record continues.
Yes.
What we will do is, as we normally do, we'll finish it off. Carl's been bigging up his Shaggy Doo pick.
Okay, so it's on to me first. So obviously Shaggy is the stoner of the of the group.
No other way of putting it.
So I kind of went along with this along those lines. So as a backup, I had Pete Davidson, who you've used before for a similar type role.
That was pick of all the episodes.
It was a very good pick when you had it. Jonah Hill was another one I had, but he's got chubby again. He's no longer skinny Jonah Hill. So I was like, no, he can't be Shaggy. It doesn't work. And then this is a pick I think I don't know if I've used before, but I think I've had as a backup in Robert Sheehan. I don't know if you've seen Umbrella Academy, which is where I
know who he is.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Umbrella Academy, but that's mainly where I based it off. But he's obviously in Misfits and stuff like that as well.
Good actor.
Yeah.
Now, my question, Greg. Have you watched the latest season of Stranger Things as of yet?
No.
I've watched some of it.
I know who you're going to pick.
My choice is Joseph Quinn, Eddie, in the new season of Stranger Things.
The fella drives the van.
No, he's the leader of the.
He's the drug dealer lad.
Yeah,
Eddie Munson. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he nails this role.
Go 3-2.
Oh, is it? I didn't think you'd watched Stranger Things, which is why I didn't.
It was a gamble.
I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes.
I didn't think you'd watched it, so that's why I didn't go with him, because I was like,
it's a good choice, though, isn't it?
I was like, he's a good choice, but I don't think Greg's watched it yet, so I was like, I better not use him.
Yeah,
it was a gamble.
It's a good show.
When I was watching Stranger Things there the other day, I was just like, this lad has so much of Matthew Lillard about him.
Yeah.
I went with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's a good show, Carl.
I didn't go for him. I actually had him in my head and said I won't use him because I don't think Greg has seen it. And that's why
imagine it coming down to that.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I can't use it because I don't think Greg's seen that. Like, no point in lashing him out there.
He was very good in the first couple of episodes that I've seen.
Yeah,
he gets better. He's really good.
He's really good. Speaking of Stranger Things, I was actually thinking of Sadie Sink as Daphne at one point as well, but I thought she was a little too young.
I'd see her more as Velma, to be honest.
Sadie?
Yeah.
I think she's too young for both those roles, to be honest.
That's why I went away from her. I thought she was too young for both of them.
Yeah.
I will say, just speaking of Stranger Things, when Greg asked, is that the stoner guy who drives the van? Did you notice that the song from that is in this as well? When Shaggy and Scooby
Pass the duty. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. It's also in Jane Silent Bob.
Yeah, but I love
almost
the fact
every stoner thing. That's
yeah.
Cheech and Chong does this. Cheech and Chong that.
But you know, like everyone as an adult, they're stoners, but that is not what kids don't understand that that's what it is. But I thought it was very funny that they put the stoner song in this kids film. Like,
it's a very similar van that he drives as well.
Yeah, and then the girl's called Mary Jane as well. Like, they made it so obvious.
Yeah. It was very. It's a good. It's crap, but it's good.
Right, Carly. Throw us the option. Now, bear in mind, I was nice to you. I'll be coming off holiday mode now when you give us this one.
I'm just trying to. I'm gonna see if you can guess it from 3 words.
Okay.
Ack.
Mars Attack.
Yeah.
There we go.
Awesome. You could have said I'm Byron Williams, heavyweight champion of the world.
The only other thing it could have been is General Akbar, and we've already done Star Wars, so it couldn't be.
We have. We will do the prequels soon. We'll do the prequels soon, I reckon. But yes, Mars Attacks.
Jesus, a big cast.
If I remember correctly, this has a stellar cast.
Yeah, there's a big cast in this.
Well, no, they mightn't have been stellar in '96 or whatever when this came out, but they went on to be huge.
Yeah, it's definitely.
It'll be a tough one, lads.
It'll be a tough one. It's a big cast, all right.
Where we go? It must be 9 or 11 we're doing, is it? Well, we're talking about that on there.
We can talk about it after.
We'll sort that out after, yeah. But as usual, well, I continue on as champ. Not as usual, but it is when you're against, it is when you're against Carl. It's as usual. You move on.
Cannot wait for a 9-0 victory next week.
Yeah, we always say that, but then we all give him shit, and then he's still very fair as the judge, so you can
He
always
is
rely
very
on
fair.
that.
But unfortunately, this week he did pick Rebel Wilson, and that was the
That let
net.
him down.
That was it. It was
let him
game
down.
over from there.
Yeah, but as usual, now follow us, like, share, follow, comment, all that stuff on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of the stuff. And don't forget to go to Carl's personal Instagram page and vote on whether you think our picks were correct or if you'd have had someone else, and let us know if there's any film you'd like to see us do in the future. But until next week, good luck.